Welcome back. So what we're going to have a look at today is working with a map for IA2. So it's sort of a startup map with a number of layers in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to content today. So from our front page we're going to content, and in my content I have a number of maps. So I've got 634 maps. This one's on Pelican Waters, 1955 to 2021. Now, if I want to share this with my students or openly public, I can certainly do that. If I hit owner, I'm the only one, organization, or everyone. So all members of my organization. I'm choosing to go with everyone because I'm helping a teacher out with this one. So I think it's a great one to look at on how you might start with a project for your students. Now, I've done a lot of the work for them here, and that's perfectly fine because there's so many layers. They now have to start choosing their layers and what represents their the best map for what they're talking about. And that's the difference here, is that we have a number of layers here that we can certainly turn on and off and manipulate, but it's not up to the students to actually go and find that data in this system unless they have the skill set to do so. Now, some of them will have the skill set and some of them will go and find absolutely stunning layers to add to their maps. But for this particular project, this would be fine in year 12, because what we can do is we can certainly turn on the contours. It's a very flat area, so there's not a lot of difference in the contours. We can turn on the low density residential zone precinct in this area. This is Pelican Waters on the Sunshine Coast, and then we can go and have a look at the zone. Now with this one, what I've done is I've gone to transparency. It started looking like this, but then we moved the transparency to 50% so that we can look under the layers and see what's actually there now. Now, these are little tricks that your students can easily accomplish with this data set. So this is really important. What I did to get this data was I went search for layers. It's not in my content, but it's in ArcGIS Online, so it's just hitting the drop down box. And Sunshine Coast Council is what I put into there. Click on that and hit enter, and you can see planning scheme overlays, boundaries, zoning, index. So I just tried a number of different layers there and basically added as many as I could that were that related to the particular area that I was looking at. Now you can turn the layers on and off. Waterways is another one. Doesn't really do much, although I think the school's looking at this area here, and there's actually a waterway in the park that they're looking at. So that would be interesting to have a look at what is actually there. Fish habitat, riparian protection zone along the coast and along the area here. So you have any number of layers that you could turn on and off in this particular area. Now, inundation. So you could look at inundation. There's another one here as well. Acid sulfate soil. So all of this is acid sulfate soil. So you could look at that as well for the natural changes over time. Inundation, heritage, so there's some heritage along here as well. I think that's it along there, and you'll see that when I turn on, there's utilities as well. So this is all the utilities, stormwater network, telecommunication network, devices, stormwater, lots of stormwater, and electrical infrastructure, water meters, pipe network, pump stations, backflow. So there's all sorts of great data there that you could utilize turning on and off. Now, what I've also done is I've collected the data from 1955, 97 and 2012, but I've also gone to the Wayback app and got 2021, 2020, 18, 17, 17, 14. So I'm going to turn on the 1955. You can see that there's a massive change over time. So this is a great starting point for students. Now, this particular 1955 ortho has been geo-referenced and put into this, and it goes 7 kilometres inland. And I think it's probably for the southeast Queensland, but there would be other areas that are geo-referenced like this. And what we can do is turn on and off to have a look at the different changes over time, particularly between 55 and 97, but then we can also look at the changes between 97 and 2012, and your students might look at the revegetation of the mangroves around this particular lake because it disappears completely. So really interesting. What we'll do is we'll have a look at, and that's changed over time. Again, they've been taken away as well. So you can see that there's definitely change over time, and particularly between 2018 and 2012. 1997 as well. So there's lots of changes happening in this particular area and lots to look at. That's pretty well it from me, but what we can do also is that we can save this, save as, or save, and we can also print. Now, print with a legend, they'll be able to put this straight into their assignment, so they'll be able to clip this out, and it will have the layers on, Wayback imagery, it's got a scale, a legend, a title, and they'll be able to clip that and put it into their assignment if they wish, or they can save the actual map and make it interactive in Story Map. So there's a number of different ways you can interact with this. This is just one of those ways. Now, the old mappings, and the student will have selected the layers that they want to use on that particular map. So that fits perfectly with the ISMG and creating your own cartographic. Now, it's not about going and getting all those layers, it's simply about manipulating those layers. I just want to take you to the new map viewer. And this is really good as well, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn on the 1955 image underneath, and then I'm going to go down here to print. Now, the print in this creates a much more sophisticated map for the student's assignment. So I'm going to go landscape. I'm going to go JPEG because it makes it easier. Set scale, author, I'm just going to go my initials. You might want to put in copyright, include legend, and then export the map. Now, it will take a little while, but the exported map sits here. Your students can then change the layers and create multiple maps from one project, and turning the different layers on and off. And those exported files will sit here. They'll just be able to pull them out as JPEGs and utilize them in their assignment. This is a really effective way to create meaningful cartographic forms for your students' IA2. Takes a little while, but once it's done, you'll be able to see the quality of the map that's been produced for their assignment. And there we go, and you see it comes up, and you have legend, date it was created, a scale in miles and kilometers, my initial, where the data has come from, a title. The only thing this map does not have is a north arrow, which is very easy to put in as a JPEG in paint.net. This is a really effective way for your students to create meaningful maps very rapidly with multiple layers selected, and that allows them to meet the sophisticated cartographic range. And I hope that's helped, and I'll talk to you next time. If you would like a copy of the web address for this particular Pelican Waters project, please just email me at bdask1.eq.edu.au. Hope that's helped. Talk to you next time.